It's May 2020, so triple 20s, and today's title is Music to My Ears. Okay, so today we're going to talk about these 7 articles: Spotify's Joe Rogan Experience, Houseparty has Alicia Keys, we've got Disney's Mike Mayer as the new CEO to TikTok, Facebook buys Jiffy, Moderna has that $1 billion share offering, what's the implication? YouTube's Activision partnership finally leading to a Call of Duty drops, that's Freebies. CocoMelon, which is on Roku, and finally AT&T's HBO Max. So let's start. These are a lot of talks. Okay, Spotify soars after signing Joe Rogan to exclusive podcast deal. The key here is the word exclusive. Joe Rogan will bring his podcast exclusively to Spotify. This is a multi-year licensing deal worth about 100 million or more than 100 million dollars. So Joe Rogan has already been the #2 most popular show on Apple Podcasts after Barstool Sports Call Her Daddy, whose hosts have been the focus of an ongoing controversy. So, according to Apple, Rogan is the second most popular show. So, the source familiar to the deal said that Rogan became sold on Spotify's ability to build his audience. Joe Rogan will lose 60 million of his followers in Apple Podcasts. So that's a huge chunk that Joe Rogan will lose. But in the end, he's going to build his audience worldwide. And Spotify is 300 plus million users, 330. So it's still a win, not just for Joe Rogan, but definitely for Spotify. This is really a music service. I was not offering enough before in licensing fees. Now that Spotify has woken up into original programming, JRE will produce these videos and it will be called an in-app vodcast. So we're seeing the first. This is not the first time that Spotify did this. We can see that Joe Rogan is not the first. This is actually about fourth or fifth. Why? Because Spotify has bought Bill Simmons, The Ringer. This is like their ESPN, which is Gimlet Media. It has licensed the rights to their show for an undisclosed sum. We're also seeing politicians, celebrities, business leaders. So we can see even a Joe Biden podcast. We can see like a Barack Obama. So actually there are already in talks. Spotify is already talking with Barack Obama for a political podcast. And I think that would be very much exclusive. Rogan is taking a risk. 60% of his listeners are all coming from Apple. But Spotify believes that many of those listeners will just, switch, and Rogan will expand his audience overseas as well, because the company is clearly the #2 in the USA, but the #1 in many international markets. So what do I like about this news? It's exclusive, original shows. This is one of the first movers defining new releases. We like it for better stickiness. People will have more fun, and therefore more fun means more advertisers. Good for Spotify, good for Joe Rogan. As we said before, Spotify used to just get licensing deals with companies like Sony, Warner Brothers, all of these music, and they get a cheap percentage royalty licensing fee. Now, with this kind of own production, this is similar to the Netflix of audio. That's why we want everyone here to listen again to our deep dive on Spotify, the Netflix of audio. The nice thing about Joe Rogan is that this is really top tier talent, so this is worth it. Of course, we can see that the world is going for short form videos, original content, reality shows. We have to so I said here that you want to juxtapose this move of Spotify with a lot of other apps. There's QB, there's a lot. Like you could say TikTok is also a competition, but definitely what we can see in a clear story here is that platform businesses are beautiful. Spotify is a platform, so is Netflix, so is TikTok, so are all these content. All of these content is in one platform, and investing in a platform is a great thing, just as Facebook has so many businesses because it has a wonderful platform. Now, this is also an era of streaming revolution that is secular, so that's what we like. We see channels and consolidation. So we think that more and more great content will come into Spotify, just as what happened with Netflix. And we are saying that the Netflix 2013, which was $40, which eventually after 7 years went to about $450, a times 10 move, could happen to Spotify given all these catalysts. Permanent work from home forever is also happening for Twitter, a lot of tech companies, same for Square. Now, I think that is not just true for tech companies. Even a lot of Wall Street firms are saying as well that they want to cut down their office space. So that is a helpful trend for all streaming devices, given that when you're at home, you're likely gonna get more streaming action. You're gonna watch or listen to more of these. So this actually helps us define that all of these companies are really gonna benefit, whether it be CBS All Access, HBO Max, CNBC's Peacock, that would be Comcast. You've got YouTube, Netflix, Epix, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Hulu, Showtime, Sling Stars. So it actually makes sense for Amazon to just buy that AMC Entertainment. In the end, all of these are winners in this era. So Spotify wins, Amazon Prime Music, we don't really care. I would say that for all the rest of these companies, I don't care about them. We only care about the leader, and the leader is Spotify. At current market cap of Spotify, it's trading at about $40 billion. So I think it is still a company worth buying into. And this is something that you want to know. Have you ever given yourself an online service login to another person who doesn't live with you? Now, everyone has actually been sharing their Netflix information and password either to their boyfriends or girlfriends or any friend. Now, it's gonna be normal, not just for Netflix streaming, but also for all these Disney Plus, Hulu, Apple TV Plus, and so forth. So essentially, I think the more and more people love to have original shows, you'd see that people would eventually, share the cost. But that doesn't mean that these monopolies will never get a return. So in fact, like right now, Spotify has a 50% conversion rate. It's actually about 45%. So out of the 330 million users they have about 150 million. I myself might have to subscribe to some shows if they become like original exclusive. So I think that there will be a case for number. So we said a lot of catalysts for Spotify. We said it had room to grow because the ARPU, average revenue per user, is just $4 versus what it used to get, like $7 before, because of the amount of freemium, they give free 1 peso for 3 months in the Philippines for you to try it out so that you could convert. As you could also see, this video streaming service is very high satisfaction. So you could see that the customer satisfaction with the telecom sector, the more streaming revolution, it should be positive for all of your telecoms worldwide. So it actually is gonna boost AT&T, it's gonna boost Verizon, it's gonna boost Charter Communications, American Tower. It's actually a sign that 5G is a trend that should support video streaming. It doesn't just help your Netflixes of the world or your Spotifys of the world. It helps the overall telecom sector, the broadband speeds, and so forth. Now you could see that global streaming has been growing. People were expecting $70 billion by 2021. Now that is just really a very forecast, but we're actually seeing more. The global video streaming market is now surpassing more than 140 billion. People are assuming that that forecast could even come closer. So Asia Pacific, North America, Europe, Latin America, Middle East, Africa. If you're investing in a secular trend, streaming is a great secular trend. So long streaming means you want to go long all of the companies that make money in this era. So currently, everyone is also streaming live beyond social media platforms. And we're seeing a lot of companies that are actually growing their revenues live streaming. So they're not just doing it on your Facebooks. They also do it in their own TikTok or whatever. I think like beyond social media, people are streaming in many, many sites other than your typical platforms.